Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to show you yet another way that you can pull in stock prices into Excel, and I'm also going to go a step further and show you how you can create a simple dashboard really quickly and easily right within Excel without really doing anything complicated. So I'm going to start by creating a header for my ticker symbols, and I'm going to start with some common ones, say Apple, Microsoft, McDonald's, Google, NVIDIA. So just a few to get started. And if I select these and go under the data tab, there's an option to specify data types. So if I click on this, I can select automatic, in which case Excel will try to automatically figure out what type of data it is, or I could actually just hit stocks here, and this will convert this into stocks. Now once it does that, the formatting has changed on this, and if I click on Apple here, you'll notice there's a couple options I have here. First, I can click on this insert data button, which will give me all these different fields I could potentially load into my spreadsheet. What I can also do is click on this, so it looks like a courthouse. Click on this, and I see all this data, and again I can add these fields to my spreadsheet. So if there's something I like okay, I want to pull in the name, well, not if I want to pull in the price. The really cool thing about this is this even has extended hours trading. So if the stock history function in Excel, or even if you're pulling stock prices into Google Sheets, you're going to get the delayed values, or in the case of the stock history function, maybe the previous day's value. But in this example here, you can get the extended trading hours as well. So that's more up-to-date data than if you were to use stock history or Google Sheets. So there's a lot of stuff that you can pull in here. And so you got 52-week highs and lows, you've got volumes, you've got beta, you've got market cap, price to earnings. I mean, even things like a description, which is I find pretty incredible. Like, you've got a huge description here of all the stuff that Apple does, the number of employees it has, where its headquarters are. So as you can see, there's a whole ton of stuff that you can add in here. So I'm going to start with just the market cap. Put that in there. And I'll create another header for market cap. Now, I can copy this down, and this will update for the other tickers as well. Because what you'll notice here is, this data type, it works like a function. So if I were to type in A2 dot, I can select any one of these values. So I no longer have to go through the data types or clicking on those boxes. I can select them right here. So let's say I wanted the 52-week high. I can do that. Copy that in here. And then again, let's do the same thing. A2. Let's grab the 52-week low and copy it down. And so the reason this is copying down just fine is because it recognizes these data types. So I'm going to put this as the 52-week high. This will be the 52-week low. Now, if I were to copy this, if I were to add another ticker symbol, let's say Facebook. So you can see it automatically recognizes that data type belongs to the others. So I can copy this formula down. Now, if it didn't recognize it, then it's not going to work. So, if I were to, type in, let's say, restaurant brands, right? It doesn't know what that is. It didn't figure out what I'm after. But now you'll see there's an option for stocks in here. So I can select this option for stock, or I could go through this option and try to convert it to a stock data type. And I'm not sure if it would know that based on that, but I can try. And doesn't look like it took. So, and it could be because it's on both the Toronto Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange. So I'm going to click this one for the New York Stock Exchange, and now we've got that in there. So in some cases, just putting in the name will be enough for Excel to recognize which stock you're talking about. But in some cases, you may need to help it, or the safest bet is to just use the actual ticker symbol. So, like I said, you can easily create a dashboard here just by using, a whole lot of data that you have at your disposal in here. I mean, the really cool one is the description, just because this gives you so much info, and I have to expand this just because there's so much information in here. So if I go to wrap text, you can see that's a ton of information. I mean, it's almost like you're looking at a Wikipedia article. And so center these out, so you could potentially have something like description, and that probably makes sense to put before or just after the market cap. And then you can start fleshing this out to show all the different values that you want. So if I go back to A2, what we could do is take the current price, obviously put that into here, and we've got that in there. One thing I am going to add in here is the actual regular ticker symbol, I'm going to call it, and I'll show you why in a second. So if I can reference A2, there's an option for the ticker symbol, because you'll notice in here it's got this XNAS. It's not really one that I would say is common, or that the stock history function uses. So right now, the one thing that I find is lacking here is we've got a lot of choices for price change percentages, even extended hours, but we don't have historical stuff. So if we wanted to compare, let's say year to date, how the stock is doing versus a year ago, we don't have that in here, at least not yet, potentially in the future. So the cool thing is you could combine this with the stock history function. So let's say I use the stock history formula here, select Apple, and this is why I wanted to have that ticker symbol pulled out of there, just so it's easy to reference that. And now I can use the start and end dates to pull exactly what I want. So let's say I want to know from the first trading day of the year. So it was January 4th, 2022. That's also going to be my end date, January 4th, 2022. An interval of daily, no headers, and I just want the close. And so there we go. So we've got the January 4th price. And so if we wanted to calculate the change, let's call it year to date, you can take this value divided by this, -1, and convert that into a percentage. And of course, let's copy this down to the other ones. Make sure I've got these formulas in here first. And so, now these are calculating all these other percent changes as well. So the cool thing about this is you can combine both these data types and the stock history function. Now you can easily see what the year-to-date change is, what the current change is, what the after hours is. So there's a lot of stuff that you can play around with here and pull in a lot of data. Like let's say you want with the headquarters for whatever reason. Let's say you just wanted to build a database that has a lot of this information. You can do that really easily with all these different fields that you could potentially add. So this is just a really easy way to do that. The key thing is to remember that you just need to make sure that these data types are being recognized as stocks, and the one way to do so is on the data tab, making sure that this has this sort of Wall Street icon, courthouse icon, whatever you want to call it. As long as it's recognizing it as that, then these functions will work correctly. You'll notice there's a lot of different data types on here, so there could be a potential overlap. Whether you're talking about let's say McDonald's, you could be talking about food related items versus stocks. So you want to make sure that it's consistent. In the case of McDonald's, I don't think it actually recognizes the business itself, just the ticker, but there's a potential that there could be some overlap. Just like when I was adding restaurant brands, it wasn't sure on which index I wanted to pull from. But once you've got it set up, you can easily set up basically a sort of dashboard here that will automatically update. Now a lot of these values like the description, the headquarters, that's not going to change. But if you want to track the prices, the price changes, you could do that as well. Another thing we could do is track the volume versus the relative volume, and then the change, just to see if there's been a lot of activity. So again, let's go to A2 for the cell, and let's take the volume, and then in this one, A2, let's do volume, average volume. So now we can see what the percent change in volume was. So the volume on the current day divided by the average. How significant was that volume? So it's about 91% of its, I should call this regular volume or average, whatever the case may be. Copy this all the way down, and you can start to highlight. Okay, so McDonald's had a lot of trading activity today. So did Google, and Facebook didn't have terribly much. Restaurant brands had a lot. So there's a lot of information you can pull in here with those different fields. So just wanted to show you yet another way to pull in stock prices into Excel, but this goes a step further and allows you to pull in even more information into Excel. So hope you found this video useful, and thank you for watching.